Listen English. Elara harbored a profound fascination with the English language, its melodic cadences captivating her imagination completely. She diligently spent countless hours immersed in its sounds, Listen English becoming her personal mantra, a soothing ritual. Yet, despite her unwavering dedication to comprehension, a significant hurdle persisted, casting a long, daunting shadow over her aspirations and dreams. The very thought of engaging in real conversations filled her with an overwhelming dread, a cold anxiety that tightened its grip around her throat. She yearned deeply to articulate her ideas, to share her unique perspective with the wider world. But the paralyzing fear of inevitably making a single, critical mistake loomed large, a relentless specter. This persistent fear often manifested as a nagging, self-deprecating internal monologue. "Why do I always make mistakes?" she would silently lament, her spirit wilting under the weight of perceived imperfection. Each linguistic misstep felt like a public declaration of her inadequacy, amplifying her deep-seated insecurities about her ability. She meticulously explored every conceivable, how to learn English resource available, devouring textbooks, downloading numerous innovative apps, and diligently flipping through stacks of flashcards. Her study routine was rigorous, structured, and incredibly disciplined, leaving no stone unturned in her quest for linguistic mastery and fluent expression. Despite her tireless academic endeavors, the practical application of her knowledge, specifically, how to speak with people, remained an insurmountable, daunting challenge. The chasm between passive understanding and active verbal communication felt impossibly wide, a silent, mocking reminder of her persistent struggle. Her burning desire, an almost obsessive need, "I don't want make mistake but I always why," became a self-imposed, oppressive barrier. This suffocating perfectionism effectively stifled her nascent attempts at genuine conversation, transforming every potential interaction into a high-stakes, terrifying performance, riddled with anxiety. She understood logically that errors were an inherent part of the learning curve, an unavoidable, natural byproduct of progress. Yet, emotionally, she struggled immensely to accept this undeniable truth. The sting of each slip-up, no matter how minor, resonated deeply, undermining her fragile confidence. Her constant internal query, "Why I always make mistakes," echoed relentlessly in her mind, a broken record on an endless loop. This repetitive questioning fueled a pervasive sense of inadequacy, making her feel perpetually stuck, unable to genuinely move forward despite all her dedicated efforts. There were moments of profound despair, deep valleys of self-doubt where a radical thought would surface. She'd ponder, with a heavy heart, why you should not learn English. Perhaps this immense, relentless struggle was simply not worth the emotional toll it constantly extracted. This radical, fleeting notion would typically vanish as swiftly as it appeared, quickly dispelled by the vivid recollection of her true underlying motivations. Her profound desire for genuine connection, for understanding different cultures, and for expanding her personal horizons always resurfaced powerfully. English was not merely an academic subject, it represented a vital bridge to a world of endless possibilities, a gateway to new friendships, diverse ideas, and unparalleled experiences. This deeper, more profound purpose consistently pulled her back from the precipice of giving up entirely. The sheer frustration of her stalled progress pushed her to seek out a profoundly different way of learning English. She instinctively knew that the traditional methods, though valuable, were clearly insufficient for overcoming her paralyzing, deeply ingrained speaking anxiety. She began to shift her focus from meticulous grammar rules and perfect pronunciation to the simple, profound act of communication itself, prioritizing connection over flawless execution. This subtle yet significant paradigm shift marked a crucial turning point in her challenging journey. Her journey started with small, manageable steps, implementing the start step-by-step talking approach with unwavering patience and gentle persistence. She decided to begin with simple greetings, short phrases, and basic, everyday exchanges, building her confidence brick by deliberate brick. Initially, her voice trembled noticeably, and her pronunciation often felt awkward, uncomfortably unnatural. She forced herself to disregard the internal critic, silencing its harsh judgments, and concentrated instead on the mere act of producing sounds, however imperfectly articulated. Elara intentionally sought out very patient and understanding conversation partners, people who genuinely understood the immense vulnerability involved in learning a new language. These interactions became her safe, invaluable practice ground, free from the overwhelming fear of judgment. She realized that how to practice English wasn't exclusively about structured exercises or formal drills. It was profoundly about embracing authentic, real-life interactions, even the briefest ones, as invaluable opportunities for growth and genuine self-expression. She made a conscious decision to view every single mistake not as a failure or a personal deficiency, but rather as an invaluable piece of feedback, a clear indicator of precisely where she needed to focus her future learning efforts and dedicated attention. This shift in perspective fundamentally transformed her relationship with errors. They gradually became less like public shames and more like private lessons, each one subtly guiding her along her unique, meandering linguistic path. She started to actively listen to native speakers, not just for the content of their words, but also for their natural rhythms, their typical intonations, and the authentic flow of their everyday conversations. This immersive, listen English, practice was deeply enlightening. Slowly but surely, a noticeable transformation began to unfold within her. The acute fear that had once paralyzed her started to recede, replaced by a growing, undeniable sense of self-assurance and burgeoning confidence in her own linguistic abilities. She discovered that the true essence of how to improve your English lay not in chasing unattainable perfection, but rather in consistently engaging with the language in diverse, meaningful contexts, pushing her own perceived boundaries gradually. One memorable afternoon, during a particularly brave, unscripted conversation, she found herself laughing genuinely at a minor grammatical error she had just made. The moment felt liberating, a powerful testament to her remarkable progress. This spontaneous, uninhibited laughter was a profound revelation. Her emotional connection to her errors had significantly changed. The intense self-reproach had been replaced by a newfound, genuine amusement, a remarkable sign of inner peace. She understood implicitly that the journey of language acquisition was not a straightforward, linear path, but rather a complex, winding one, full of unexpected detours, occasional setbacks, and numerous opportunities for profound self-discovery. Her previous preoccupation with the question, "I don't want make mistake but I always why," began to dissolve, slowly losing its suffocating grip. She accepted that mistakes were simply a natural, unavoidable byproduct of courageous communication. The powerful, life-changing insight that truly liberated her was the profound realization that communication transcended mere grammatical precision. Its true power lay in the genuine connection forged between two human beings, speaking from the heart. Her approach to how to speak with people evolved dramatically. She began to prioritize clarity of message and authentic self-expression over the rigid adherence to flawless, textbook-perfect linguistic structures and complex sentence patterns. Elara started embracing every interaction, regardless of her perceived linguistic proficiency, as a valuable chance to practice, to grow, and to genuinely connect with diverse individuals from various cultural backgrounds. She learned to truly appreciate the nuanced differences in accents and regional dialects, realizing that there wasn't a single, universally correct way to speak English. This broadened her understanding and deepened her appreciation. Her journey illustrated that way of learning English was incredibly personal and deeply unique. What worked for one individual might not necessarily resonate or be effective for another, emphasizing individualized approaches. She continued her dedicated practice of Listen English, but now with a profound, newfound purpose, to absorb the rhythm and natural flow of conversations, rather than meticulously dissecting every single word or grammatical structure. Elara found immense joy in the small, daily victories, successfully ordering coffee, sharing a brief anecdote, or simply understanding a complex joke. These tiny successes fueled her progress, igniting her internal motivation. The concept of start step-by-step talking truly resonated with her. She acknowledged that rushing the process only led to frustration, whereas gradual, consistent effort yielded sustainable, long-lasting improvements in fluency. Her confidence swelled with each brave attempt, transforming what was once a terrifying ordeal into an exciting, invigorating adventure. She discovered her own unique voice, emerging stronger and more resilient than before. She no longer asked herself, "Why I always make mistakes," with despair. Instead, she reframed the question, "What can I learn from this mistake?" This positive reinterpretation fueled her continuous, incremental growth. The fear of being judged slowly faded into the background, replaced by a powerful, intrinsic desire to participate fully in the global conversation. Her authentic self was finally beginning to shine through her words. Elara's story became a testament to the idea that true fluency wasn't about eradicating all errors. It was profoundly about building bridges, fostering understanding, and fearlessly expressing one's authentic self, imperfections and all. She became an ardent advocate for embracing imperfection, advising others, "Don't let the fear of a few mistakes silence your voice. Your message is far more important than flawless grammar." This became her guiding principle. Her initial anxiety about how to learn English evolved into a profound, lifelong passion for continuous, immersive learning. She recognized that language acquisition was an ongoing, dynamic process, never truly complete. She learned that how to improve your English was a multifaceted endeavor, encompassing active listening, deliberate practice, reflective self-correction, and, most importantly, persistent, courageous engagement with others. The initial thought, why you should not learn English, now seemed utterly preposterous, a distant echo from a past self consumed by self-doubt. The rewards of her linguistic journey far outweighed any fleeting struggles. Elara discovered that the most effective way of learning English was deeply personalized, adapting methods to her own unique learning style and embracing strategies that resonated with her individual strengths and weaknesses. She emphasized the power of consistent exposure and active immersion, advocating for daily doses of "Listen English" through podcasts, films, and authentic conversations, truly integrating the language into her daily life. Her journey highlighted that overcoming linguistic anxieties required immense patience, unwavering self-compassion, and a tenacious spirit. It was a marathon, not a sprint, demanding sustained effort and consistent dedication. The question, "I don't want make mistake but I always why," transformed into a gentle reminder that every error was a stepping stone, a brief pause on the path toward greater clarity and more confident communication. She found unexpected liberation in letting go of the unattainable ideal of perfection. This freedom allowed her to experiment, to play with words, and to truly enjoy the organic, evolving process of speaking. Elara's narrative became an inspiring example for countless others who felt trapped by similar fears. Her brave journey encouraged them to start step by step talking, regardless of their initial proficiency level. She shared her insights on how to practice English, emphasizing genuine interaction over rote memorization, urging learners to seek out conversational partners and truly immerse themselves in real-world contexts. Her experience profoundly demonstrated that the ability to how to speak with people stemmed not from a lack of mistakes, but from an abundance of courage, a willingness to be vulnerable, and a persistent drive to connect. Elara's story, from initial crippling fear to a newfound sense of linguistic freedom, truly underscored the transformative power of perseverance and a positive, growth-oriented mindset in language acquisition. She recognized that language was a living, breathing entity, constantly evolving, and her relationship with it was also dynamic. Her journey was far from over, it was an ongoing, enriching exploration. Now, her English flowed with a natural, authentic rhythm, occasionally punctuated by charming, endearing imperfections. These small slips no longer deterred her, they simply added to her unique linguistic identity. Her initial agonizing question, "Why I always make mistakes," had finally been answered not with a perfect solution, but with a profound acceptance, because making mistakes is an essential, inevitable part of growth. And so, Elara continued her journey, a confident, joyful communicator, proof that true fluency isn't about eliminating errors, but about finding your voice, sharing your story, and connecting with the world, one brave word at a time.